Good afternoon, students. So, in yesterday's class, or else in the previous class, what we have discussed now, we have discussed regarding the functions of the business. So, today we are going to discuss a trade and industry. Trade and industry. So, actually, what is the meaning of trade? Trade means nothing but an exchange of goods and services. Nothing but a market where the goods which are produced, those goods should be sold in the market. So, that is called as a trade here. So, here it is a buying and selling of goods and services. Buying and selling of goods and services. Why? Because the goods which they have produced, those goods should be sold in the market. For that purpose, what is required here? Trade is required. What is required? Trade is required. So here the trade is help in transferring goods from producers to the consumers. Nothing but the trade will helps in transferring goods from producers to the consumers. It is a market mark. Remember, the goods which are produced by the producer, those goods should be sold in the market. Where can sell in the market? Where they can sell only by the means of trade. By means of trade. Okay. Finally, the goods which are produced by the producer, those goods will reach to the consumer by the means of trade only. By the means of trade only. Okay. So that is the meaning of trade. Next, coming to the classifications. So trade may be divided as internal trade and external trade. So here under internal trade we have wholesale trade and retail trade. So what is the meaning of here wholesale trade? Wholesale trade means that the goods which are produced from the goods which are purchased from the producer. The goods which are purchased directly from the producer, that is called as a wholesale trade. And what is the meaning of retail trade? Retail trade is nothing but the goods which are purchased from whom? From the wholesaler. The goods which are purchased from the wholesaler. Here the wholesaler directly will purchase goods from the producer at lump sum quantity, and from wholesaler, the retailer, he will take the goods, okay, at small quantity, and finally he will sell to whom? To the customers or else to the consumers. Okay, so these two things comes under internal trade. Next, coming to the external trade. So what is the meaning of external trade? Is nothing but import trade. Okay, here import trade. And one more point here, under internal trade is nothing but the trade which is done in our country only, nothing but domestic, which is done in our country. The trade is done within the country, that is called as an internal trade. Next, coming to the external trade. Here external trade is nothing but the goods are produced. The goods are produced. Okay, they can trade between, nothing but the trade is between two or more countries. The trade is between two or more countries, or even an international trade also. Even it is an international foreign trade or foreign trade we can call, or else it will call as an international trade. Nothing but the trade is between two or more countries. Whereas internal trade is nothing but the trade is within the country. Whereas external trade means nothing but the trade between the two or more countries. Okay. Here, see. Here under internal trade, what we have? Import trade, export trade and entry port trade. Import trade, export trade and entry port trade. So what is the meaning of import trade? Nothing but the goods we are purchasing from the other countries. Okay, the goods which are purchasing from the foreign countries. Let us think, from the foreign countries to our country. That is called as an import trade. So here we can take an example. The goods are purchased by India from the USA. In that way we can take example. Next, export trade. So what is the meaning of export trade? Means the goods we are selling to other countries. Nothing but from our country we are selling the goods to whom? To the other countries. Okay, that is called as an export trade. Okay, next, what is the meaning of entry port trade? Next one is entry port trade. So what is the entry port trade? Means here nothing but first what we will do here, we will import the goods. And again after importing those goods, again we will re-export to other countries. Have you understood here? What is the meaning of import trade? Means import trade is nothing but a re-exporting. If suppose once we have imported the goods, for what purpose we have imported the goods? To export those goods to another country. Okay, I will give an example. Here we have imported goods from USA. And again we have exported those goods to some China with them. Those goods are exported to whom? To the China. That is called entry port trade. So here once again I will explain what is the meaning of entry port means. Entry port trade means first we have to import the goods. We have imported the goods from USA, and again those goods we have exported to the China. So that is called entry port trade. Okay, so these are two things. Next one, coming to the aids to trade or hindrances to trade. So aids to trade, nothing but what are the modes are there for trading. What are modes are trade there for trade? In how many ways we can do the trade? First one, and nothing but what are the supports? What are the supports for the trade? First, transport. Yes, transport is compulsory. Why transport is compulsory, ma? Without transport, the goods can carry from one place to another place? No. So that's why transport is compulsory. In transport, we have a different facilities like roadways, railways, waterways. Okay, these all comes under the transport. Next one, banking. So banking is also very, very important. So, and it is one of the aid to trade. Why it is called one of the aids to trade means here, the banks, banks is nothing but financial institutions. The financial institutions, they will provide finance to whom? To the producers. How they will produce finances or loans to the producers, or else they will, or else to the traders they will produce the loans. Okay, overdraft they will do, cash credit they will do, and even they will help raising the capital. Even they will help the raising the capital in public companies. Those all things is done by the banking. Next comes into the warehousing. Warehousing, why, for what purpose warehousing is required? To store the goods. Storing is required, yes or no? So store, compulsory goods should be stored. So for that purpose storage is required. Okay, so it is called as a warehouse. Next one is advertising. So advertising is also one of the mode to sell the goods in the market. Okay, why? Because through advertising only the consumer will be knowing about that product. Next, coming to the insurance. Compulsory on all the goods, the producer he has to insure on goods, nothing but the stock which we have prepared. Compulsory he has to insure. He has to insure because to avoid risk, to avoid risk. If suppose he has prepared a he has produced a products. After producing products, what he has done, they have kept in a warehouse. They have stored, or else they have stored in a warehouse. So here suddenly fire has, if suppose suddenly fire has occurred, total stock has been destroyed. So it will affect whom? The producer, nothing but the businessman will be affected a lot. That's why after producing the goods, compulsory the producer, what he has to do, he has to insure on the goods. He has to insure on the goods. And one more point also I will say here regarding the insurance. If goods are, if suppose we are exporting goods from one place to the another place, okay, suddenly in between, let us think through waterways. Through waterways we are exporting goods from one place to the another. So here what happens if suddenly some cyclones have come, suddenly some floods have come, so what happens there? The goods will be damaged, or goods will be collapsed. So here for that purpose, compulsory on goods they should make a insurance. Okay. Next, communication. So communication is very, very important. Communication is nothing but it is a means of exchange of information from one person to the another. Okay, communication is nothing but it is a exchange of information from one person to the another. That's why communication is very important activity in carrying out the trade activities as producers or as traders, as consumers. So communication is one of the important mode in the trade. So this all comes under the aids to trade. Next we will discuss about the industries. Okay, here actually what is these all things already you have learnt in inter. So once again we'll go through it. So industry is nothing but refers to an activity which convert raw material into useful products. Nothing but an industry, nothing but the raw material is converted into finished products. The raw material which we have purchased, that raw material should be converted into finished product, and it should be useful also. So that comes under an industry. It is a part of business activity. Yes, for producing the goods we require an industry there. Nothing but we have to establish a plant. The establishing a plant itself, it is called as an industry. Okay, that's why it is called as a business activity which is concerned with the production of goods and services. Okay, so what is the meaning of industry? Nothing but the goods, the raw material which we have purchased, that raw material finally should be converted into finished or as useful products. That is done where? In the industry only. So again here goods has been classified into consumer goods and producer goods. So what are the consumer goods? Means nothing but the consumer who directly consume the goods. Those goods are called as a consumer goods, like food items, clothes, drugs, etc. Drugs means not medicines. These all things comes under consumer goods. Next, coming to the producer goods. So what are producer goods? Means plant and machinery. Why we are taking plant and machinery? Means by using a plant or machinery we will produce the goods. So that's why it is called as a producer goods. Okay, next, classification of industry. Industry has been classified into three types: primary industry, secondary industry, and tertiary industry. Again, under primary industry, we have two. So, what is the meaning of primary industry, ma? Here, nothing but the activities which are related with extraction, production, processing of natural resources and reproduction are included in the primary industries. Nothing but in primary industry, directly we will be getting nothing but directly it is related to the products only. Okay, those all comes under primary industries. Under primary industries, we have a genetic industry and extractive industry. So, what is the meaning of genetic industry? Means here nothing but planting a trees, nurseries, poultry, cattle breeding, those all comes under a genetic industry. Those all comes under genetic industries. Okay, next nothing but naturally we are doing this type of business. So that's why it is called as a genetic industry. Nothing but through hens. Okay, another to planting, we are nurseries, we are doing poultry. Okay, those all things comes under genetic industries. Next one, extractive industries. Extractive industries is nothing but it is concerned with the extraction of materials from the soil, climate, air, water, okay, from the surface of the earth. Nothing but here I will give an example. Under extractive industry, we can say mining, okay, soil, oil industry, fishing, those all comes under extractive industries. Okay, nothing but from earth we are taking, from the earth we are taking, that's why it is called as extractive industries. Next one, secondary industries. Under secondary industries, we have a manufacturing industries and construction industries. So manufacturing industries is nothing but goods are manufactured, the raw material is manufactured for making a finished or semi-finished goods. Okay, here the goods are manufactured. Those all comes under manufacturing industries. Next, construction industries. Construction industries nothing but constructing the buildings, roads, dams. Those all comes under construction industries. Next, tertiary industries. Under tertiary industries, these all points already I have explained in the aids to trade. Again, same points, ma. Under tertiary industries, we have banking sector, transport, insurance, warehousing, and advertising. So here what happens means this is called as a tertiary industries or service industries. To run these primary and secondary industries, the tertiary industry will be helpful. To run the primary and secondary industries, compulsory the tertiary industry should be there, ma. For smooth running of these two industries, there should be a tertiary industries. Banking is for what purpose? For providing the loans, for doing any cash transaction. Everything is required in banking. Transportation is necessary for transporting the goods from one place to another. That's why transport. Insurance on goods they have to insure. Warehousing, nothing but the goods which are produced, those should be stored at one place. Advertising, the goods which we have manufactured, those goods should be sold in the market. For that purpose, what is required? Advertising is required. Okay, so that's why tertiary industry or a service industry is very important for smooth running of primary industry and secondary industry. Okay, clear? So this is the topic today, trade and industry. Trade and industry we have discussed. Okay, ma. So if you have any doubts, you can call me or else you can WhatsApp me. Thank you.